Buffalo's going to win it both.
Kick your heels up and shout.
We've seen why the Buffalo Bills are en route to the playoffs.
Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout.
Buffalo Bills go undefeated. And we're going to the Super Bowl.
Right now, baby. Come on, come on.
No one
Come on
circles the
and
wagon
shout.
like the Buffalo Bills.
And we're back, man. We're back. We had extended holiday leave, and for some it's even more extended for preach. So it's just me and Matt here. We're back on another episode of Overdue Bills. We're gonna talk some Bills football. We're gonna talk some good stuff. We won. We're on a nice little 3-game winning streak. We're gonna talk. We got Matt here. What's good, man? How you been, bro?
Been all right, man. Spent Thanksgiving in Detroit. Went down, seen our guy Mike. Shout out to my boy LaShawn for the ticket. Just happy to be back riding this win streak after a good weekend of football, man.
All right. So how you feel about, just real quick, how you feel about the 3-game win streak? Because it was a lot of, I guess, fans that was panicking. We got so low as what? We was 6. What was the lowest we see? We was 6.
I think we were fifth.
50.
Yes,
so how,
we were fifth.
So how I feel for the nice little 3-game win streak, man? Just to, do you feel?
Man,
was your confidence ever wavered?
No, I mean I can't lie. Like I said in the beginning of the year that we were going to win the AFC East, and I still believe that. So with that being said, I didn't think that we were going to finish lower than the top 4 because those 4 slots, the division winners get those spots. But that, not going to lie, the AFC part of it definitely was in question after losing those 2 games that I don't think we should have lost to Miami and the Jets. But it never was really in question our spot here in this group.
All right. Before we get too deep in the show, I want to start with 26. Shout out to Buffalo fan base, for supporting us always. Shout out to 26 Shirts also. This is presented by 26 Shirts. But our sponsor that we always love to talk about, we always love to brag on. Matt, hit us. Who our sponsor, bro?
Yes, sir. This show and every other show is brought to you by the good people at Buffalo Wing Kings. There's 2 things the guys here at the Overdue Bills podcast know. That's Bills football and that's wings. Our first choice and the best choice is Buffalo Wing Kings. It's football season, everybody. It's Monday night right now. It's not too late to get your order in for Monday Night Football. We got some Saturday games coming up. We got tailgates coming up Saturday, Sunday. Anytime you guys need wings, definitely hit our guys up over at Buffalo Wing Kings. Give them a call at 716-248-1427 or stop down and see them at 484 Elmwood Avenue and find out why they say and we know they got the best wings in town, hands down. And make sure when you go see them, you mention our name, the Overdue Bills podcast, get 10% off your order.
This might be a little controversy. I think, shout out to Buffalo Wing Kings. This is about wings. So I'm going to say, is lemon pepper wings overrated, bro? I think they're a slight bit overrated. I think they overhyped.
I mean,
they overrated, bro, because it's like I had some good lemon pepper wings, but I had more bad lemon pepper wings than good, I would say.
Yeah, I feel like you got to find somebody that does them right. And I know, at least from experience, I order from Wing Kings a lot. So they do. I get the medium lemon peppers. Some people like the spicy lemon pepper. You get the hot lemon pepper. They definitely do the lemon pepper right. You can definitely overdo it, though. I know what you mean because I've had some that were just
extra
like
lemony, extra peppery or something.
Exactly. You got to have that balance, right?
I just wanted to know it wasn't just me because I'm like, everybody talk about lemon pepper. I'm like, I don't know, man. I had it a few times and it wasn't always the best. I usually just go, mild or barbecue or something like that. Yeah, but lemon pepper. To each his own.
Yeah, I mean, I'll plug them real quick. I'll just tell you that they're, my go-to order. I get at least a 20-piece. I either get the 10 lemon pepper mediums and then 10 Cajun mediums, or I switch it up sometimes. I get that Carolina Gold, which is like a honey mustard and barbecue, and things like that. But those are those are definitely a staple in my house at least once or twice a week.
So lemon pepper is overrated. That's what we got to. So before y'all, everybody who's watching, if people gonna come in, like, share, subscribe. Also, hit up our website, overduebillspod.com. We got merch, we got articles, we got videos. Shout out to editor-in-chief Mike D. Shout out to Mills, who what Mills do? What's Mills' job?
Mills,
a little bit of everything.
He's a
A
postman.
little bit of everything. A little bit of everything. Shout out to him.
Yeah, he's the facilitator. He facilitates the contest. He gets us some of the pressing interviews that we bring you guys. Mills is the facilitator.
Yeah, that's a nice one. He's a facilitator. Mills. Shout out to Mills. So yeah, but go overduebillspod.com. Overduebillspod.com. All right, let me start off with this quick question of the day. Bills are back to number 1 seed. We're gonna talk about that a little later, but we did number 1 seed. So my quick question of the day is, who's our biggest threat? Who's our biggest threat? You can take it as who's our biggest threat in our division, who's our biggest threat in the AFC, who's our biggest threat in the NFL. If you want to, open it up to everybody. Who do you think is our biggest threat to not winning the Super Bowl? So with me and you got the Bills winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So
if they don't, we don't got to talk about if they don't. But who's the biggest threat that potentially can stop them from getting there?
I gotta say the Chiefs, man. I mean, I know I talked about it before too. Like Josh and Pat are today's either Breeze and Brady or Peyton and Brady matchup, where one of the two have been getting the best of each other in the postseason. Josh has been seeming to win the regular season matchups, and then Pat's winning when it counts. So I would say the Chiefs are definitely our biggest hurdle because they've stopped us from getting to the Super Bowl twice in the past 2 seasons. And they're looking like, we're going to be neck and neck for that 1 and 2 seed going forward. So I would definitely say the Chiefs.
So do you think the Chiefs are the second best team in the NFL? Would you pick them over the Eagles?
I would pick them. I would pick them over the Eagles because simply, the quarterback and the offense, man, those Patrick Mahomes and, Josh Allen, those guys, they can face off against anybody. The Chiefs defense definitely isn't anywhere near Dallas or Philly, but I think quarterback play wise, I think that, Pat is definitely right there.
All right. So you said the Chiefs
above those guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You said the Chiefs, and they just took that L. So I guess they nemesis. Our nemesis was the Chiefs for the longest. Now it's like the Bengals with Joey B might have something over, Patty Mahomes. So do you feel like should we be looking out for the Bengals because they've been there, they just went to the Super Bowl last year, they're young as ever, you know what I mean, they all 23, 24 and younger, and they pretty much getting back healthy right now, and they just beat the Chiefs. So should we be looking at the Bengals a little closer? And for me, I'll be after you answer that, I'm gonna tell you why I think the Eagles is our biggest threat, but you can answer that one.
Yeah, so the Bengals, I mean, they on paper and on the field, their receiving core, I think, they probably have one of the better, if not the best, receiving cores in the NFL.
Top two.
And I'm including Mixon in that when he's healthy too, because he does, split out a lot and he does get a lot of love in the pass game.
I don't know. P. Ryan might be that boy.
And P. Ryan is definitely no slouch either. So with that being said, I feel like, we definitely got to worry about them. But I look at, what really killed them in that Super Bowl and, what really took them out of games last year was A, their defense, and B, their offensive line, man. I mean, Joe Burrow, he'll make crazy plays, but going up against what I think is a very good front seven in us to get after the quarterback is going to be the difference in that game. You saw it last year with Von Miller, and we got Ed Oliver's playing great these last couple games. And then we just got our rotation of Rousseau, Basham, Jordan Phillips, guys that are getting pressure onto the quarterback, and our guys are making plays in the back end.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. But for me, watching the Eagles play, the Eagles for me is like they got because the step that Jalen Hurts took, right? He can throw the ball. He just threw for 350 and 4 tubs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So He took a crazy step. AJ Brown is elite. and to have to have a Smith as your wide receiver 2, right? They're getting Goddard back. Their defense has been janky up and down, Jekyll and Hyde, but they added some pieces where they can be good. I think the fact that they can run the ball for 200 yards or throw for 350, that they pretty much they in Philly, so they got the cold weather not going to be a real factor. I'm not going to say cold weather going to be a big deal for them if they if they play. So I think Philly ultimately for me I think the Bills is the second best team in me. I think it's Philly. I think Jalen Hurts is pretty much the front runner for MVP right now. Yeah. I would say I think that Patty Mahomes losing, and I think that performance against the Tennessee Titans, who was obviously I think they was a little bit over. They was a 3 seed, but they was a little bit overvalued. But
yeah,
for me, I think the Eagles, man. I think Jalen Hurts took a step. AJ Brown is a dog, and they elite. You know what I mean? They can run the ball and pass the ball. They they don't have no holes offensively. So I think definitely the Eagles. Then I mean Eagles I think is the better team, but I think obviously we can't in the AFC is the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs is the team. I think Patty Mahomes, Kelsey, Andy Reid scheming it up. But I think we're better than them. So
yeah,
I think we're better than everybody. I think we're better than everybody.
I'm with you.
All right, let's go to the injury report. If you got that with you, Matt, talk about the injuries that happened on Thursday. Obviously we wasn't here last week. Obviously Von Miller, he's on the IR, like stuff like that. So just talk about the injury report.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll just kind of get into the heavy hitters. We obviously didn't have Deion Dawkins. He was out with an injury, and it kind of showed. I do like games like where guys like that are out, and it really shows you how valuable they are to all the Twitter people, or even Preach. I wish he was here to defend himself, but it's all good. Like always talk about how bad a person is, and then you see what we have in place of that. Like we had Questenberry the other day, and it just seemed like he couldn't block anybody. I mean, he was serviceable for the little bit of time that we had him, but man, Deion Dawkins is such a huge difference in that game. So we'll start there, and then obviously Von going on IR from what was supposed to be maybe a 7 to 10 day injury is looking like, damn, he'll be back for maybe the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's a precaution thing or what, but yeah, that's a big hitter. And then to piggyback on see how valuable a guy is. Tremaine Edmonds came back on Thursday night, and he looked great. He gave us that spark. Milano wasn't quite himself on Thursday night, missing tackles and things like that, but it seemed like Tremaine Edmonds was all over the place, man, making huge plays, and was showing that he probably should get paid, and probably should him and Milano should be anchoring this defense for years to come.
All right, man. Yeah, so that was the injury report, a little injury report. So let's get right to the game. All right, so I guess we won. It was we had big long drives. We was the better team. We was dominant. So I guess what's your biggest takeaway from the game? And I guess who's your last year was premium player, but who was your MVP of the game, and what did this game tell for you for looking forward to the next 3 to 4 games to end the season?
Well, I think Thursday's game kind of showed that it was 2 players for me that have they showed kind of what we thought they would be in the beginning of the season. I guess one we didn't really know what we were getting, but we knew what he had the potential to be. That would be James Cook. I think he had his coming out game. He got a nice volume of the carries and the ball in the pass game, and he showed that explosiveness and that those plays that we kind of knew that he could have. And he almost seemed a little bit more comfortable out there and was able to do things that we knew that he could do. But then another player, I don't know if it's just against New England or what, but Isaiah McKenzie, showed up in a big way. He kind of popped out and separated himself as the slot receiver. Shakir was getting a lot of time in his place, or they were rotating that a lot. But I think Isaiah kind of took that lead for now, making plays and showing what we thought he could be this season. So I'll give it to those two guys.
For me, I mean, honestly, for me, it's gonna be Ken Dorsey in this. I know y'all said player, but I think Ken Dorsey, because there's a lot of talk. If y'all saw on Twitter, the Greg Cosell saying, the Bills ain't really talented. We just rely on Josh Allen to be pretty much elite every game. And for us to come out and just and be committed to the run, to have a different philosophy and really run the ball, really use James Cook, really use Singletary, and really have that mindset that we're gonna have we're not on the track meet. We're gonna have it, keep the Patriots offense off the field and get them out of, because they need more of a rhythm. They need they need to run the ball. They need to get in the rhythm. They need to have the ball, use the clock. But that's what we did. To show that we're able to do that. For him to call those plays, and him to be committed to the run, to him to use James Cook early and often, like you said. I mean, it was a lot about Ken Dorsey and he's not creative enough. But I mean, in football, we getting late. It's getting December, January football. We're gonna need to run the ball more potentially, and showing that we can do that, and we have the play caller who will stick to it against a good defense, right? New England Patriots is a good defense. It's not like a slouch defense. It wasn't like Bill Belichick, a good defense, drew down them boys. They come to play. So I think that was just a good game on the road. And we looked at dominant. And Ken Dorsey, I think, called a hell of a game.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so coming off the game, we back to the number one spot.
Yes,
back to the number one spot. It was a lot of talks. We like I said earlier in the beginning of the show, we as low as 5th seed. How important is for the number one spot? Do you feel like it's important? Do you feel like we're gonna keep it for the rest of the season? How you feel about this number one spot that we're back in, and do we need it moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very important. I mean, I know we talked about it earlier in the year. We were saying, we were kind of a lock to get that because we were calling 17-0 this season, whatever. Yeah. But I think that the playoffs to go through Buffalo would be huge. I mean, you got, obviously it would be the first time that we clinched the number one seed, and I don't even know how many years offhand. That would just be a huge thing for the guys, and I think it would just be a goal, that I'm sure that they got checked off in their locker room, right? Winning the AFC East, 2, being the number one seed, and then having home field advantage through the playoffs to go, and then having all home games, and then you go play in Arizona in February. So I think it's definitely a huge deal, and I think that it is our time to seize the moment and kind of take the reins back, because we lost them, and we kind of got all the stars aligning to get that back. You see those scenarios that used to be in the Buffalo News or whatever every week. Okay, we need them to lose, to lose, these people to tie, whatever, and by
crazy mathematics.
Crazy mathematics, and that all that stuff happened. So now with that happening, we got to seize the moment and not leave any doubt for the rest of the season. Now as we're going through the gauntlet of the Jets and in Miami, we got to play New England again. We got to exert that dominance back in the division and then keep it rolling throughout the AFC.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback on something. I think it's important, right? I think like you said, that home field advantage throughout the playoffs, throughout the AFC. And I think we're going to need it. I think, the Chiefs is tough. I think the Bengals are going to be a tough out. Tennessee, they got with the run game, but, whatever. Ravens, we'll see what they're doing. Miami, if we get a Miami team, you'll want them in Buffalo. You know what I mean? Stuff like that, little stuff like that. That bye and that home playoff game, the AFC Championship game, potentially in all purposes, going to be in Buffalo. So that's going to be beautiful. I think the fans need that. I think the fans going to appreciate that. And it's going to be a hell of a game. The AFC Championship game in the Bill Stadium. I just can't, wait to see something like that. So I think it's important. I think our fan base need it. I think, that's something they want to get delivered for us. And that's something that's going to tip our edges to get to that Super Bowl that we all think we're going to get to. So I definitely think it's definitely important, man. Definitely important. So moving on, I just want to talk about, we want to get to the Super Bowl. We want to have that multiple home playoff games. And we had somebody here Friday, Odell. We didn't sign him. Usually when people leave, it's like, all right, we'll see. Usually when you bring him in, you want them to leave with a deal. But he did. He moved. I think he's meeting with Dallas today. How you feel about us bringing in Odell? And do you feel like he's the missing piece, to the cherry on top, to carry us over to that Super Bowl?
I don't know if I would necessarily deem it the missing piece, because I really do think that we have all the pieces, but I think it would just be, a rich get richer, another option in the pass game. I think, Gabe has been catching a lot of criticism, and rightfully so, for a lot of drops and a lot of questions. Is he the right number two, right? And I think bringing in a guy like Odell might elevate Gabe's game to kind of be like, okay, I'm not getting it done, and there is a guy that's coming in. He's gonna get it done. He's gonna bring it every day along with Diggs. So I got to step it up, or I could lose some of my time in this offense where it's next man up all the time. So I wouldn't necessarily say he's the missing piece, but I definitely wouldn't mind bringing him in on a nice team friendly deal if he'd like to come here.
Yeah, I think just that extra playmaker, the extra field stretcher, the extra that man beater, right? We talk about Gabe and Knox. I don't know. They haven't been what we thought they was going to be, right? We thought going into the season that Knox, we paid him. He was going to become a top 5, top 7 tight end in the NFL. That hasn't happened yet. I came on and praised Gabe, Gabe Davis, and said that he was going to be one of the best number 2 receivers in the league. I say he's going to, might lead the team in touchdown passes. You know what I mean? So it just haven't done it yet. Now, adding Odell, with 4 or 5 games left, I think definitely is going to push these guys. It's definitely going to push that wide receiver room. I think McKenzie has been showing up more and more. We've been using him in a man-to-man coverage. He's been our man beater. And I think, I think Odell, it would be great. I think for one, it will stop him going somewhere else to somebody else that's going to help them out. One, which he can be a missing piece for somebody else, and 2, yes, somebody will show more. One thing we know about Odell, he can catch the ball. You know what I mean? I don't know if his speed or his leaping ability has taken a jump from a fall from the ACL, but I think one thing we know about him is that he can catch the ball. He gonna catch the ball. So I think adding that extra piece is going. And maybe I don't know. I think we're doing great. I think Stephon Diggs is, second to none. You might have 1 A's and 1 B's being the best receiver in football, but Stephon Diggs is right up there. So
for sure,
is he the missing piece? We'll see. I think we'll definitely take him to a team like this. If we get to the team like a Cincinnati. Cincinnati has those weapons like you talked about. They have the T. Higgins, the Chases, the Boyds, the Mixons, the Pirines. I think they are a little bit more dynamic on offense than us. But so adding Odell would throw us in that type of round fire as being dynamic. So I definitely would love to see Odell come to Buffalo. What's your chances? What do you think? Do you think we're really gonna get him, or where do you think he's gonna go?
I definitely think our chances are big, just with the friendship with Von. I'm sure he's been on him. But I think that if it's not us, it's going to be Dallas, because I don't see him going back to New York. They're definitely they're a false good team in my eyes. And do you want to play with Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, or Daniel Jones? That's the question. And are you going to be a team you're not going to win your division, because Philly's got that right now, and are you going to be on a team that's pretty much going to be fighting in a wild card spot in the playoffs? Or are you going to be one of the top dogs, right? And so I think that'll probably weigh heavily into it too, because he's probably chasing a ring at this point. But yeah, I definitely, it's either us or the Cowboys, and I think he's going to end up coming here at the end of the day if the deal's good for him. But I also don't think Bean's going to go too crazy on it either. So our chances are probably good.
All right, man. All right. You got anything else to take away from this game before we talk about the preview of the Jets game? You got anything you want to talk about for this game?
Well, just one thing I want to say about Diggs. I mean, he's going to break the single season record this year. I think he's going to shatter it. I mean, he's already at 1,202 yards, and I believe that the yards in a season. Eric Moulds. I believe it's. I thought I saw it was 13. It was 13 something.
Shout out to Eric Moulds, man. Let's try to get Eric Moulds on the pod. Where Mills at? Where's facilitator Mills at, man? Try to get Eric Moulds on the pod, man. What's good with Eric Moulds?
Yeah, so he's definitely. I mean, he got. Well, yeah, I think he's definitely gonna get it. Well, he broke the. I guess he did break. He had in his 2020 season he had 1,500 yards. So maybe he did break it. Maybe I'm tripping right now. Maybe I'm going way off with it. But I thought that I saw Eric Moulds with the record last time I looked, but maybe that was in the 16 games. So we kind of looked at it with an asterisk. I don't know. I got to look back into it and do a little bit more research.
Either going to be one or two. He's going to be one or two. Might break his own record or might come a little short. But you also said something about Elam. You wanted to talk about Kyer, right?
So Kyer was
scratch. You know, what's going on with him?
Yeah, so he was a healthy scratch. I don't know. I think it was kind of a Leslie and Sean saying, okay, man, we put you in real early. You had some early success, and now it's kind of dwindling. We got our guys back. So do you really want to get back on this field? You're gonna have to show us a little something else. And maybe it'll do something for his maybe it'll motivate him. I think it will, the kind of guy, the kind of player that he is. I don't think it's gonna do too much to his confidence, to his ego, because he has had a pretty good season, despite a couple games where he was getting torched a little bit. I mean, he's a rookie, right? He's gonna go through those growing pains. So I think it's good for him. But yeah, he was a healthy scratch on Thursday. I don't know if that was just a roster move to keep some extra receivers or running backs or whatever they're doing. But yeah, either
way, you being the one that he gotta make the decision on is always tough, especially being the first round pick. Exactly. And obviously Trey White is back too, so that has a big deal to do with. Trey White is back. He got pretty much his full complement of snaps. Yep. So obviously that's a big deal, and we still ride with Dane Jackson and Trey White as our starting two, I believe. So I mean it's tough. It's tough, and and Benford is playing out of his mind. Is Benford back, right?
No, he's out. He's out.
Okay, he's on IR. I'm tripping. Yeah. So it's I think it's a lot to do with Trey White coming back. And it's gonna be tough when Benford do come back. That's what I mean. When Benford do come back, who's gonna be the one that get the tilt to make the to be on the team? So
exactly,
we'll see. That'd be an interesting storyline moving forward. But next week we got the Mike White, the White Mike, or the which one is it?
Mike White.
Mike White. Mike White. For the Jets. So what are your thoughts? Are we scared yet? We're not scared. Zach Wilson bench, Mike White. They playing better. They did just lose to Minnesota. What's your take on the Jets defense? We just lost to them. What's your take, the Mike White Jets?
Well, I don't trust in Mike White. I do think that we're going to be able to get off on those guys. I mean, the numbers look crazy. And they're almost comeback. The other day, but he threw the ball 58 times. So I think he threw for like 322. He threw for over like 300 yards, and they're almost comeback. So I'm not really worried about Mike White. I know Garrett Wilson kind of got off on Kyer Elam last
Corey
game.
Davis.
But now they got to play against Trey White and Xavier Rhodes. So those guys are some vets. They're gonna and we're gonna be. I think we're gonna be able to get to the quarterback too. Like Mike White was definitely under a lot of pressure with that Ravens defense. So I think we're gonna be dialing up about the same game plan that they kind of had. And then our offense, we're gonna be able to roll. A lot of people I've been seeing, Diggs is gonna be covered in sauce or whatever corny thing that they're saying about Sauce Gardner. But you see what happened last game. First play torched him. And we just gotta go. We just gotta finish these drives this Sunday. So I'm definitely not worried about the Jets.
Yeah, so I guess we did lose to them, so I gotta put respect on that.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What's the biggest difference that we're gonna go into with this game, right? Because we played well enough. We got to the red zone. Josh, was not himself. He gave the ball away a few times. So what's the major difference this game, coming back after that loss to them earlier?
Yeah, I just think that Josh isn't going to be making those same mistakes down in the red zone, and we're going to finish drives and we're going to score enough to be able to let our defense go out there and make some plays against Mike White. I think he's going to be due for some turnovers this week. It's going to be a crazy game in the Ralph, especially after losing to the Jets. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be at home. Mike White, gonna be in that crazy environment. So it's gonna be different. I think the Bills, we're gonna come to play. We had a dominant road win against New England. A similar team where it's a defensive team where the offense ain't necessarily. Well, we'll see. Mike White have Garrett Wilson looking like this year's Amon-Ra St. Brown. So we'll see. Hopefully, we'll shut him down. He's still a young rookie. That running game is they a little banged up. They got Donovan Knight and who Tyler Johnson or something like that. So I think we definitely gonna show better. I think Mike White is gonna be on his back often. And he's definitely gonna throw some picks. So I think it's gonna be a good game. But I think it's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be similar to the Patriots game. I think we're gonna run the ball more. I think the philosophy, I don't think it's changing per se, but with them trading for Nyheim Hines, I think it says that obviously, I'm not saying we're gonna use them more, but I think we want to run the ball more. And in case one of those guys go down, we got another good back to back both of them up in Nyheim Hines. Because I think pretty much all three of them are interchangeable. They all can do the same thing. They all can catch out the backfield. They all, can run pretty good. They all, Devin Singer the slowest, but they all, got some pop onto them. So I think the thinking to get to Nyheim Hines was we're gonna run the ball more. And we in case one of those guys go down, we got another guy to pop right in there in Nyheim Hines. So I think that same type of game plan, man. We're gonna run the ball, and when we get in the red zone, we're gonna be way more creative, have Josh be able to run, use Diggs one-on-one against Sauce. I don't care who we checking. Diggs is a dog. The dog in him, it should be Diggs meme. That's the Diggs meme. The dog he's literally the dog. So shout out to Diggs.
It is for sure, man.
All right. So that's all I got, man. So we got a weekly contest, man. Tell us who won the weekly contest.
Yeah, so our resident facilitator stepped in and did the contest this week. He had a little interesting little tiebreaker, which is pretty cool. So we had nobody predicted the score for the game, but as a tiebreaker, he had the amount of penalties the Bills would commit and how many yards it would cost us. And the Bills, our winner this week was David Burt. Shout out to my guy Burt. He was the closest to he had the penalties right on the money, and I think he was a yard away from the yardage that it cost us. So shout out to Burt. We'll be hooking you up with that $30 Wing Kings gift card. Shout out to my guys from the Hold That Thought podcast. I think that almost everybody on their podcast has won something this week. Yeah, shout out to Tito, Danny, and Bert is now the third of they got 5 or 6 dudes over there. So shout out to them. For shout
out to them, man. Shout out to them. Shout out for supporting us, man.
No doubt. So but yeah, those this week we're gonna do something similar. We're gonna do our score prediction contest. It's gonna be the Bills against the New York Jets, and as a tiebreaker, we're gonna go with our trusty leader, Josh Allen. We're gonna go with his passing yards and rushing yards as a tiebreaker and a double tiebreaker. So predict the score, then put Josh Allen, what you think Josh Allen's gonna throw for and what he's gonna run for this Sunday. At 1:00, the contest is going to close at 12:45. The winner is going to get a $30 gift card to Buffalo Wing Kings. So shout out to Wing Kings. Definitely get in and try to win some wings. And if you do get the correct score, you get the Mills double up. We have had a couple double ups this year, so it's definitely doable.
Shout out to the Mills double. Shout out to the Mills double. Once again, like, share, and subscribe to everywhere you see us. Also, hit up our website at overduebillspod.com. Matt, you got anything to say before we get out of here?
No, man. Just let's go Bills. Let's keep it rolling.
All right, Preach not here, but we still in the show with a little bit of what? Hey. All right, you seem like you loved it.
Nah. Only Buffalo is going to win it, folks.
Kick your heels up and down.
Let's see why the Buffalo Bills are en route to the playoffs.
Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout.
Buffalo Bills go undefeated. And we're going to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Now, baby, come on.